Hello, everyone. Welcome to Feedstuffs 365 on this Friday. And Greg Soulje is back with us here today to give us a look at the weather. I think we got a little warming coming up here this weekend, at least here in Northern Illinois, that I'm excited about. So welcome, Greg.
Yeah. Hello, Sarah. Nice to be with you on a Hip Hip Hooray Friday. Yeah, if you want to get the electric star or the Santa Claus plugged into the silo of the barn, this is the weekend to do it. I mean, you'll be able to manage through it, but it's going to be pretty comfortable relative to the last few days of the month of November because changes are happening around our neck of the woods and much of the Corn Belt and Plains, and we'll talk about that here in the next few minutes.
Very good. We'll let you get at it. There's your slides.
All right, and here we go with a finally Friday, and again, rain is the story, but it's still falling over some of the areas that have seen recent rains and some substantial drought improvement. We'll take a look at that drought monitor coming up here, and the folks at the Weather Service, at least that end of it from a dryness and drought standpoint, have their seasonal outlook. We'll share that with you along with, for equal opportunity purposes, their outlook for December and the next 90 days from a winter weather standpoint. But the rain is welcome. Topsoil moisture is lagging as much as 55% of the very short side across Illinois, Indiana, and Missouri. That's basically the I-70 corridor and northward. South of there, again, in relatively good shape. Corn harvest is still winding down across the Dakotas, where they're looking at sunshine and temperatures in the 40s and 50s for the day-to-day. Big changes happening there, livestock people. But in any event, they've got about 12% of the corn still to go. I think that's also a number pretty common across Nebraska, where it is raining at the current time. From a corn harvest standpoint, they're still trying to cross the T's, not the I's out there. And speaking of the northern plains, it points on westward. Again, livestock people, be ready. There's going to be a shift in weather around here to more or less a midwinter look and feel in the coming days. Very short high by almost 70%. Some of those soils across Montana. We will put the white stuff down on it here, and I don't think it's going to go anywhere in a hurry. So hopefully you get some of those supplies and at least confinement areas and things lined up, your ducks in order here, as you would expect for December weather and wintertime weather out there. Of course, there's rain across parts of the Central Plains, Nebraska, and Kansas as we speak. Some pretty good rains down through parts of east central and southeastern Texas. Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston, Galveston have had some flood-related issues with some multi-inch totals there. Some element of that helping with dryness and drought, which continues to expand across Oklahoma and down through Texas. Otherwise, pretty warm weather pattern down across that part of the area and into the southeastern states as well. Temperatures will be into the 70s and lower 80s, and rain is underway across parts of Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, Panhandle. Boy, they are in a tough predicament as well. And usually a La Nina setup is not real conducive to getting organized rains in some of these extreme and exceptional drought areas down through the Cotton Belt country. And you want haves versus have-nots over through the 20th of this month, almost 9 inches of rain in Santa Barbara, pretty widespread swath of 5 to higher amounts of 10 inches in some of the coastal ranges of central and southern California over the past several days. So they are experiencing drought relief out there. The Pacific Northwest in quiet order, and that weather system is the next to one, actually the first of two more to come through the Plains and Corn Belt locales, and then a shift in weather expected as we head through the Thanksgiving holiday. There is the visible satellite picture and kind of the overlay of the upper level winds in at about 25,000 feet. You can see a circulation or two across Kansas and Nebraska that's driving this low overcast, rainy, drizzly scenario into parts of central and southern Illinois, central and southern Indiana. Temperatures really by the past several days haven't really swung by more than 3 to 5 degrees if you've been stuck in that low stratus deck. Skies have thinned out here in northern Illinois and southern Wisconsin, but pretty much dominant and overcast as you venture the I-80 corridor and points on southward, where we've got a boundary and a weather system coming across the Great Plains. You can see the radar returns overlaid that surface front through Kansas and Nebraska, the rain through Missouri and Illinois. So some relief, especially through parts of Missouri. But farther north, again, I-70 on northward, we've got some tough drought conditions, and we may make a little bit of a dent in it. And the one weather system doing for early next week is going to be of no significant scale. Now, there is more moisture back in the forecast, but it's signs of this back and forth scenario, one versus the other, as weather systems kind of run the periphery on the eastern and southern flanks of this advancing cold air. But at least for a Friday afternoon here, rain continues to come on down across the Great Plains, a little snow in the higher peaks of the central Rockies. Organized rains are basically really south of I-72, I-74 as they cut across central Illinois, and they pick up in intensity I-70 southward towards the Ohio and across Indiana and Kentucky. A couple of waves may reach as far north as the Kankakee River. Don't think it'll be any more than that across the eastern Corn Belt locales, 10th to quarter there. But everyone south of there, probably half to 1 inch, and some 1 to 2 inch totals are expected into the southern reaches of the Corn Belt. You can see a new weather system, not quite the scale and scope as the past few, but something once again generating some shower activity over the next 24 to 36 hours and through Southern California. This system will move out of the Ohio Valley, will warm the atmosphere from bottom to top, and so that should result in clearing skies overnight tonight. There may be a little fog in some spots of the Midwest, but generally a better day's worth of weather ahead from a sunshine standpoint. Anytime you can get that this time of the year with outdoor work and livestock operations, get that sun on their backs, all the while better. You can see a little weak boundary coming on through between Saturday night and Sunday. A few sprinkles into the northern Great Lakes region as the next weather system lights up. Two areas in the southwestern states, central and more so southern plains, livestock country, muddy feedlots, but no cold air for now. And so some drop relief there. So that's good news. Pacific Northwest getting into moisture and a nice, really weekend in store across many areas of the Corn Belt with temperatures above average and again, some sunshine. So opportunities to just wrap it up. Forego maybe heavier equipment usage because we're going to begin to put some frost and freeze in some of these grounds where we do have muddy feedlots and pasture lands going forward here in the next few days. There's the next 24 hours focused from about Kansas City, St. Joe to Quincy, Hannibal, Illinois, maybe down towards the I-64 and south of the I-70 corridor into the southern Corn Belt locales. Drought monitor into the weather office here yesterday. Before we headed, that was TV. TV was Tuesday. I was going to say before we headed out to TV land. But in any event, as of the 18th, you can see an improved area of the southern Corn Belt and Ohio Valley down through Kentucky and Tennessee as well. Good news there. Worst of it still roughly Piatt, Champaign, DeWitt counties. The counties across Indiana, that would include Logansport, Warsaw, Indiana, Fort Wayne in northwest Ohio, hit I-70 southward. Vastly improved. Another tough area down through northern Florida, the Panhandle, southern Georgia, and to the southeastern corner of Mississippi, where exceptional drought. That's a D4 category. That's the highest levels we go is into position there. And you can see the western states where California's improved. Great Basins that improve. We'll see some probably improvement in the next couple of weeks on the drought monitor over the southwestern reaches of the country. And you can see a lot of the Corn Belt drying out. We're going to make amends with that. It may not necessarily be the form you want to like and appreciate, but it is what it is. Gee, within the next week, we're going to, in 10 days, we're going to roll the calendar into the month of December. And for now, what snow was on the ground through Wisconsin to Michigan gone. It is building, if you keep an eye on this type of thing, in two areas, Western Canada and areas from Hudson Bay, James Bay down to the St. Lawrence River Valley. And again, remember, cold highs like to migrate where the snow covers into position. Can't rule out a couple of strong storms this afternoon and evening time over the Tennessee Valley and lower Mississippi Valley. And a couple of thunderstorms may rock their world down south of the LA Basin in through San Diego and Imperial Valley and points south from there. And the significant rains will be in two lobes in the next 3 or 4 days. One currently moving through Texas, another one due in late in the weekend, early next week into the lower Mississippi Valley. So some of those winter wheat areas and lower Mississippi Valley areas will continue to get liquid recharge down there. Going forward into next week, Thanksgiving week, steady progression of weather systems across the country. Unfortunately, they're going to take a turn in from, as opposed to the southwest, in from the north and northwest. And so that's going to generally, it's not a complete clear picture, but keep an eye on systems that evolve over the course of Thanksgiving and into the first few days of December. Not a major winter storm. We've seen enough of that tomfoolery already out there this morning. Pick and choose the model you want to throw out there to make a headline and have no science behind it. So keep an eye on what you kind of turn up with on the internet. And folks who are posting this stuff, some of them have no weather background whatsoever. Anyway, the odds of getting into a little more wintry driving scenarios, we move on through the Thanksgiving holiday for the northern and central plains, after the holiday, over the rest of the holiday weekend, into the western and northwestern Corn Belt. And there's a little more action in the weather maps and charts. None of these look to be big deals, winter storms, but a progression of more wintry weather systems for the plains and Corn Belt locales going forward to the last couple of days of November and into early December. Otherwise, the next 5 days, 1 to 3 inches of rain, the I-70 corridor southward into the Tennessee and Ohio valleys, and there'll be probably some significant snows. Livestock managers, when when we talk about, and weather forecasters talk about upslope conditions, north and easterly winds, they ride and glide up the higher terrain of Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, and the high plains areas. That brings about snow and snow showers and flurries, and that's the story that livestock operations need to keep an eye out for going forward in the next week and over the holiday as well. Probably some accumulations out there going forward. From a rainfall standpoint, the next 7 days, there it is. First, the main wave through the Mississippi Valley, the I-70 corridor, and in those secondary areas, Oklahoma, Texas, and in through the Tennessee Valley, part of Cotton Belt country, with the next weather system due in early next week there. There is that weather system Monday to Tuesday, that little dip in the jet stream, that system coming up out of California, moves into the middle part of the country, and then it kind of coalesces with the northern branch of the jet, and it's colder, but for now, not out of control colder. Some of these models are a little bit out to lunch. There's kind of a blending of one particular jet stream and another. So, yeah, some colder days are ahead, below average days. But for now, we're going to keep it even keeled. It's, I think, later after the first, or in sometime late in the first week of December, where we do get more significant transition, the first of 2 significant cold air shots across the middle part of the country. And you can see again the system coming out between Monday and Tuesday, winds up through the Canadian Prairie. Then we get a little wraparound effect Wednesday to Thursday, a stout breeze, a couple of snow showers and flurries, some frost and freeze into the ground, a little above freezing by day, certainly well below freezing at night. And that's pretty much the story, with, again, the more frequent snows in the high plains areas of Montana, Wyoming, and the western Dakotas, but can't rule out from time to time a couple of snow showers and flurries, either lake effect style or making it into the Midwest. We're about probably 2 weeks out for beginning to ramp up the atmosphere from a winter storm standpoint. So again, watch what you're looking at out there on the internet. Max temps pretty delightful under the cloud cover, a little bit cooler across the Great Plains, but 40s and 50s across the Midwest. Look at the warmth in those red areas up near the Canadian border. Daytime readings pushing 50, heading on through early next week. And then by the time we get farther out and into the weather pattern for upcoming temperatures moving forward towards Thanksgiving itself, those numbers, those shades are representative of probably 20s through the Dakotas, a few upper teens, a little bit 30s into northern Illinois, and 40s to low 50s down across the lower Mississippi Valley and parts of the Mid-South. Overnight readings pretty mild as well, coolest across the Great Lakes region. That's the story through Monday. Then by Thanksgiving, nighttime lows are down into the upper teens to mid-20s across a good part of the Central Corn Belt, Central Plains, some teens to maybe single digits near the Canadian border, especially coldest over any snow-covered areas, and there'll be some frost potential down to the lower Mississippi Valley. So colder, yes. More mid to late December, like probably so. Out of control, Armageddon record setting? No, not right now. And nor is it really foreseen in the current longer range weather maps and charts. But we do have a colder weather pattern. Little troughs will make their way with a combined flow off the Pacific and Western Canada. So these are not temperatures that we've not experienced in the month of December. So colder days ahead. And the more we get this circulation to build up out in the top left, that upper circulation across Alaska, the Gulf of Alaska, the more we're able to dislodge cold air. And we're keeping an eye on 2 stratospheric warming events. One is just beyond the first week of December, another one later in the month. We have it all detailed, by the way, well into December on this weekend's edition of This Week in Agribusiness, a week-by-week forecast. Right idea, a little overdone, below average, yeah, trend towards colder weather, more so the back end of this outlook as you get towards the first few days of the month of December. And I think this is, again, a little bit too cold looking for the 6 to 10 day right idea with the most significant moisture. And these will be snows. Livestock managers should be ready. It's been pretty quiet, pretty docile. Now we're going to shift things almost into a midwinter weather pattern. So you have the next few days to get preparations ready to go for a more winter-like scenario tending to livestock operations. Feds came out with their seasonal outlook. The top 2 is December. Kind of the right idea, I think. These cold air surges will quickly modify, but you do that, you make moisture, you bring back another lobe of cold, or you wind the storm system through the upper part of the country, upper Midwest, Eastern Corn Belt. You're going to get this scenario. A little too dry in the plains, but the right idea through the Corn Belt locales. It will be no shortage of mixed moisture and or snow going forward as we get deeper into the month of December. We really haven't seen a weather pattern since, I believe, I was looking back on this, 2016. So that's 9 years where we haven't had anything where we're kind of thinking along these lines, and what we've been thinking about on this week in agribusiness. A little more significant snow, probably above average snowfall total, as he tries to say, out of the plains and Corn Belt locales. That bottom two panels is the seasonal outlook. So it's something that's going to stay locked in here in this rapidly developing La Nina setup, and intensifying La Nina setup. It's not going to be long lasting, gets us into early springtime, but a La Nina that intensifies in winter gets you a pretty stormy weather pattern. Quick shots of cold, turn around, you make moisture, more cold on the move as you get another storm to move on up. You'll be out there plowing, shoveling, whatever. Maybe not necessarily big storms all at once early in the season, but it will keep you busy. And the feds came out with a drought outlook. And yeah, we agree with this. May not like the moisture type, but we do have improvement for some of the worst drought-ridden Corn Belt locales going forward in the next 60 to 90 days. We'll update all this on the live stream. And of course, we do this on This Week in Agribusiness every weekend. And so that's it from the weather office on what will be an increasingly busy spell of weather, an active one across the middle part of the country here going forward here for the next few weeks to come for openers there, Sarah.
Very good. Well, it's winter. We can expect that kind of variation, let's say.
Yes. Rumor has it
course,
snows. Yeah, it snows, it blows, it snows, it rains. Yeah, look at it as moisture. As long as you can get this in the ground before things get firmed up and freeze up, just use your smarts, use your noggin, watch what you're looking at on the screen here. Sarah and I are the best ways to take it right now, along with This Week in Agribusiness and all the other radio stuff I do too.
Yeah, don't get wrapped up in some of those extreme things you're seeing out there on the social media channels. It can get you in a little bit of a panic. I know sometimes I'm like, it does, and I'm like, no, that's not what Greg said. So I always go back to what Greg said.
We're continuing to walk you the straight and narrow going forward here.
And of course, we'll touch base with Greg next week, right before Thanksgiving, so that we can give you an update as well as what that looks like. So Greg, see you next week. Appreciate your time here today.
Have a good weekend.
We appreciate all of you tuning in as well.